What's up guys, Paramoto here. Today I don't want to make a clickbaity video. I don't want to make a video just for the views. Today I want to talk about why motorcycles are important to me. And what The OGs of the OGs will know what this place is. This is the old Gracie Raleigh. I used to ride a motorcycle down here almost every single day. There's some sort of notice on the window there. Today is the day after St. Patrick's Day. There is festivities everywhere, and I've come down to downtown Raleigh to talk about a topic that is very important to me, and that's what motorcycling has done for me, how motorcycles have improved my life. Guys, motorcycles have done so much for me. Your Porsche sounds like a freaking vacuum, bro. Nice Dyson Carrera. So anyway, guys, like I was saying, motorcycles have done so much for me. Really need to talk about my life and how much they've improved it over these last 10 years. It's been 10 years now. I took 2023 off, but 2024 marks 10 years I have been riding. So to tell you guys how much motorcycles have improved my life, I gotta tell you about the low points in my life that I've experienced before motorcycling. Really get the point across, to be honest with you. From a period about 5 years after high school to about 5 years ago, if you were a part of my friend group, you took one of literally 3 different paths. That's it. If you were a part of my friend groups, you had 3 different paths in your life. The first one is that you went away to college and nobody ever saw you again. That would be the first path. You went away to college, nobody ever saw you again, you disappeared completely, who knows what happened to this guy, they're gone. The second path, you got involved in drugs or alcohol. You know, and it's really unfortunate. Just drugs and, you know, namely heroin and alcohol have ruined a lot of my friends' lives over the years. And then the third path is that you died. Either you took your own life or you overdosed, but that's the third path, is that you died. That's it. That's all of my friends. 3 different routes. That's it. You know, to be honest with you, I started falling down one of those paths. I was, you know, unfortunately, when the economy downturned in 2009, I found myself unemployed, and like a lot of unemployed people, I found myself drinking. It wasn't super healthy, and eventually I did get myself out of that. But during this time drinking, which was probably one of the darker times in my life, I discovered something that would end up being one of the most profound things in my life, and that's motovlogging. Namely, I found Rebel Yell 91, and I sat there drinking beer, namely Irish Reds, hence St. Patrick's Day, and I ended up finding Rebel Yell 91's YouTube channel. He was just a little kid learning how to ride motorcycles, and it just struck a chord with me. And I just sat there on my Dell desktop computer drinking beer and watching his videos. That's how one of the darkest times of my life ended up eventually becoming one of the most profound times ever. I just sat there watching Rebel Yell 91 on his little Ninja 250. What resounded to me was like, hey, I can do this. I could totally get a bike. I can totally learn to ride. And I could do this. I could be this person. Rebel Yell was really good at making content that was super approachable. Like, the thing about Rebel Yell 91 is, like, he made you feel like you could do it. And, you know, when I was watching his videos, I knew that I was going to get a motorcycle someday. Eventually, I righted my ship. I stopped drinking. I went back to school. And I became a firefighter paramedic. And with good, steady income came the ability to save up some money and get a motorcycle. And that's one of the very first things I did. A few years down the road, I ended up saving up enough money to buy myself my very first motorcycle, a 2013 Kawasaki Ninja 300. So fortunately, during the time between Rebel Yell having a motorcycle and me getting a motorcycle, they brought the 250 into like the modern world where like they put fuel injection in it. It was like one of the last carbureted bikes, and it was just kind of like on the chopping block to be actually upgraded and discontinued. So I ended up getting a Ninja 300, and it was one of the most profound things that I have ever gotten in my life. Move! I rode that thing everywhere, man. I literally, one week of ownership of that bike, I rode from Cleveland, Ohio to New York City, and within a couple months of ownership, I was literally in Times Square on a little tiny wannabe crotch rocket. Like, literally fast forward like 5 days, I rode it from Cleveland all the way to Washington, D.C. I literally almost had to do an oil change in 1 week of riding. I rode the absolute living piss out of that thing. I ended up actually putting about 11,000 miles on that bike in the first 9 months. At that point, I really started to realize how important motorcycles were going to become to me. They were going to be super important, and honestly, I was going to start making life decisions around actually being able to ride more. At the least, motorcycles definitely came to me in a time where I needed them most. When pretty much all of my friends had died, All my friends were making bad decisions, and I wanted to make better ones. And I needed pretty much something to be my friend. And motorcycles were my best friend for a long time, and they've continued to be a very good friend to me for 10 years now. They've been pretty outstanding and fantastic, to be honest with you. They're so much fun. Eventually, I started using motorcycles as almost like a meditation kind of thing. How I spent my days on my motorcycle is I would go to the gym, I would shut down the gym. And the gym closed at like 11 o'clock. I'd go at about 9:30, and I would literally work out until the gym closed. I would just shut down the gym every single day, and then I would stop, I'd get a protein bar and a drink, and then I'd head down to downtown Cleveland. Something about riding with headphones on, with good music going, usually Metric or Silver Sun pickups, while I just thought about my life and my life decisions and what I wanted to become and what I wanted to do with my life, just was so profound to me at the time. I would head down at night under lights all the way to Voinovich Park in downtown Cleveland. Voinovich Park overlooks the Rock Hall in downtown Cleveland on one side, and then Lake Erie on the other side. It was such a calm, meditative thing to do every single day, was just to get out and do my own thing and be in my own head and spend time to think and have no stress whatsoever. Because that's the thing about motorcycles. Once you're on them, you can't really think about much else. Man, I spent so much time on motorcycles. Like, I've made some of the most life-altering decisions on the back of a motorcycle. Literally decisions that affect me to this day, and probably the rest of my life have been made on the back of a motorcycle. There's really something about these things that really call to me and really speak to me on almost a spiritual level almost. The year that I spent without a motorcycle was probably one of the weirdest years that I've had in a decade, where it didn't feel right. And it just wasn't me. I just wasn't me for a year because I didn't own a motorcycle. Fast forward a little bit, I traded in the Ninja 300 for a CBR 600. Still, the same thing was happening. I was just spending my time on my bike, meditating, thinking about life, and I decided that I wasn't going to put the motorcycle away anymore. I needed to live somewhere where I could motorcycle all year round. I needed it so much. I needed motorcycles so much that I didn't want to put it away anymore. And in Cleveland, even as much as I was riding, I still had to put it away for like 4 months out of the year. Like, as soon as the first salt hit the ground, I didn't want to ruin my bike, so I put it up. So from like November through March, so 4 months out of the year, I'd have to put up the motorcycle, and it just hurt. Every single day, I just walk by my bike and just like, man, I wish I got to do the thing that I love the most. And that's honestly when I started looking at North Carolina. They're dying for paramedics down here, and I have my paramedic card, so I'm like, started throwing in apps like, hey, what's up? During this time when I started riding versus when I started thinking about coming down to North Carolina, motorcycles have gotten me through some dark times, man. There was like a solid 5-year period where it seemed like every other freaking day somebody was calling me and telling me that such and such died or such and such overdosed, or this bad thing happened or that bad thing happened. I've literally gotten down to the point where I'm 36 years old. I'm 36 years old, and I'm the last person left in my friend group. As a 36-year-old, the last person left. Everybody else that I know or were best friends with back in the day are dead. And motorcycles been with me through all of that. It's gotten me through all of this grief. Without motorcycles, I don't know where I'd be, honestly. Probably would have fell down the same dark hole of drinking and all that other crap. And, instead I had this positive outlet, this absolutely positive outlet every single day of my life, and I love it. There's something so just purely meditative about being on the back of a bike. There really is. There's nothing else like it. If you've never done it before, you got to give it a try. Even today, motorcycles are still helping me. 2024 has already been one of the rougher years of my life, and this bike has been with me pretty much all the way through it so far. At the end of the day, this MT-07 is not just a motorcycle, it's a fucking therapist, it's a fucking best friend, it's so many things. Something happened this year that I just really never thought could happen. A relationship that I had for about 9 years completely fell apart, and now in my life, dude, like my person that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with has moved on. Also, we had our entire lives entangled with each other, so it's like, my housing situation could change. Homelessness is 100% something that could happen to me this year. 100% could happen. I could be homeless this year. It could happen. Literally, there's nothing bad is off the table as far as this point goes, and I'm still out here, still riding, still finding peace in this, and just literally riding my motorcycle and having fun and just doing what I do. Talking to you guys, having this YouTube channel is one of the best things in my life. Motorcycles continue to be one of the best things in my life, from freaking 2013 to 2024, man. This has been absolutely amazing, and I'm just so grateful to have it. One thing they don't tell you in the MSS course is whenever you have a motorcycle, you always have something to do. You always have a best friend. You always have something positive, you know? And that's the coolest thing about a bike, is like you can always just jump on it and just go have fun somewhere. You can always just jump on it and go find something to go do. You can always have something to go have fun on. You know, that's the coolest thing about a bike, is that there's always something fun to do because you own something that's always fun. Even when it's rainy and a little bit cold out, it's still fun to go ride. And that's something they don't really tell you about. It's just like this thing that it's just kind of like, it's so funny that this like inanimate object can be so important to people. You know, people like me. People like me that are, you know, maybe struggling a little bit, man. I don't know about you, but, you know, a 9-year breakup is kind of hard to get over. So I'm struggling a little bit right now, but this bike is still here for me. I'm still out here having fun on it. And sometimes when things get a little bit too rough, man, you just jump on the bike and it's like nothing bad's happening. Anyway, guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a lot more serious than typical content. I don't want to bring the channel down or anything like that, but, you know, sometimes you gotta get serious. Sometimes there's serious things going on, and you just gotta embrace it. You know, that's what I'm doing. I'm embracing life right now. Made it this far in the video, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being here. The channel is a hefty flotation device for me right now, so I just appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Anyway, deuces.